The thing that I don't think people appreciate about a consultation with a personal injury attorney is that it is free and there is no obligation to go forward. If you don't have a lawyer representing you, you are going to be contacted by the insurance companies on a regular basis, asking you to give statements, sign things, agree to things, and you're not going to know what the right thing to do is.
Jim was very empathetic, asked questions, went through the process of what it would look like, what he would need from us, what we could ask them or expect from them. That made it a much easier process for us.
Right after a major accident, the first thing I want to do is I want to understand the nature of the event that caused you injury. And that helps me understand what kind of investigation would have to be done into the liability issues in order to prove your case. Second, I want to understand your injury, and I want to understand where you are in your treatment journey so that I can determine whether or not we need to either encourage you to take additional steps or point you in the right direction so that your injuries are being appropriately diagnosed and documented. And then third, I just want to orient you into this system that you've been thrust into, which is you are now in a situation where the insurance company may be spying on you online. Before they ever consider a settlement, are going to have the right to look at your medical records and how they're going to evaluate your medical records. I want people to know all of those things so that they can make good decisions while they're healing.
They aggressively and actively chase down my insurance providers and even workman's comp. When checks stopped coming, there was always somebody in the office who needed to know immediately. And I was never made to feel like a pest. It was always important to whoever was on the other end of the line that what I said was dealt with.
Getting a lawyer involved early is the lawyer can take over all that communication. We send out a letter immediately after somebody signs a contract with us to all of the insurance companies involved saying, do not bother this person's family anymore. If you need anything from them, you contact our office. That way, my clients can focus on healing and I'll deal with the insurance company hassle. If you were on the job at the time, they should be submitted to work comp. If you have disability insurance, then we want to make sure that you're submitting the appropriate claim there. So we're trying to make sure that everything is being paid by the entity that should be paying it. We're also keeping track of what they're paying so that we can make sure that your settlement covers everything that's been paid out on your behalf and also covers all your additional losses.
He's got a really good team that he's built there. If we had questions, we had contacts to get a hold of. They give us the perfect answer every time. I've recommended him to everybody I've talked to so far. He's got a group of lawyers in his office that covers a wide variety of different aspects.
I try to explain to people that when they hire me, they're not just hiring one lawyer, they're hiring a whole team. And I'm going to be quarterbacking that team to make sure they get the best representation that they can get. Being part of the largest personal injury and defense firm in the state is that I have people who are in-house experts who can help me every step of the way. If there is a workers' compensation component to their case, I can go down the hall and talk to our workers' compensation expert. If they're never going to be able to work again, I can walk to the other side of the office and talk to our Social Security disability team and make sure they get the guidance that they need to file for Social Security. But most important are the paralegals and lawyers that I work with on their specific case. I have been working with most of the members of my team for a decade or longer. And I know that I have a paralegal who is going to either call or text each of my clients every few weeks and find out what's going on in their lives and find out what things they need answers to. I have lawyers who I work with who I can trust to take a deposition, or help me interview witnesses.
The people at RSH Legal are well educated, number one, and number two, well trained and best positioned to help my clients.
It's really undefinable until you see in action how good they actually are at what they do. If you need representation in the state of Iowa, like I did, you can't do any better. It's really that simple.
Hiring a lawyer is not like getting on a roller coaster where if you start at the beginning, you're there till the end. You are in control every step of the way. And so if a client tells me, listen, my kids have suffered enough in this horrible wreck and I need you to get a fair settlement for them, but I don't want them to have to go through litigation, then I will take every step that I can to make sure that we can get the best offer possible without them having to testify.